Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here. It's a Friday, and I'm going to do a very special video today during the day. Just took that trade now. We're going to be just focusing on hitting this, I have a technique I'm going to be trying out. It is a strategy on our ES trading, even though we're going to be using the tradeometer and the Rambot, but we're calling it a $20 bill strategy. And I just started this video up. We just had our first alert too, and it just took it, and it just triggered. But we just had an alert right here on the tradeometer, and it just came back here, and we just nailed that. So hopefully, all the rest you're going to see get triggered here today. I want to try to just show you each one of these. Every time we get an alert, we're going to take that trade. We're going to see how things play out today. I got some other things I'm just going to clean up here. And we also had that, this is kind of a super signal, because we also had that 5-minute sell signal here. So we had a nice 5-minute sell signal. So that still looks really good to the downside. We have a... Come on. There we are. So I did a video yesterday. I told you I might follow up with a second video today during the day if we found anything else interesting. We're coming into the home stretch of the election, so I kind of expect maybe a little volatility going ahead, and want to start taking a hedge here. I really do. And today might be the day to do that too. Well, I tell you that AVB has been very choppy. Yesterday it was down about 4 or 5 points, and then today it's up about 3 or 4 points. Wow, this could really be a choppy market for newer traders. ISRG back up here almost 10 points off the yesterday's lows, and a lot of other things. I want to be here with you. But as you can see, this is really our first super signal. It's a combination of that Rambot tradeometer signal, a tradeometer of it'll just give you that standard signal. And I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it. I'll show it to you on the this is on the open here. You have it here on the ES. You have it also on the NASDAQ, and again, as you know, a lot of traders are now trading the YM, and the YM actually had 2 good alerts here. And remember, each one of these are scalping areas. So we'll go into a little bit more detail on that, how to manage that trade. But as you can see, that was a good signal right there. It was a tradeometer. And on the other side of the screen here, if you look up at your tradeometer on the site, I'll move that over there. That's right on the that's on your dashboard, and you can see this big blue sign here, 9:55, a 5-minute sell signal. 9:55, 5-minute sell signal. So both of those perfectly overlapping each other. It gives us a great trade, and that's that's all we have to wait for. That's the beauty of it. It's all, you don't have to miss. And now, of course. If you love that setup, first of all, you get that tradeometer, you get that Rambot sent to you. Even if you go up here, I'm just going to point it out. I think this is a great little feature. If you go up here to the alert manager up here, click on that, and you can see you have all these different alerts. So you see the Rambot alert here. it'll send you those 3-minute, 5-minute setups on a Rambot right here. Just put in an email. You could also get the cell number. You could get that sent to you right down the bottom of the text message too. And I always say best case scenario, doing something fun. You're not wasting your time sitting in front of the computer, and all of a sudden you get that super signal or that signal alert, and you get a text message. You walk inside, you see where the market is, and you're able to take that trade. And trade in the futures like this. This is fast money. This is fast money right now. This is a 30, 28, 2 points right now. It's $50 a point per contract. So, just think about it. You have some great opportunities. You don't have to waste your time in front of the market all the time. Great little things. So take advantage of that. Members get that feature here at Day Trading Radio. The tradeometer. That's a separate product altogether, but we do have a special for those members, so you get an extreme discount. You even get it for free if you have a yearly membership or a lifetime membership. With Day Trading Radio, you get the tradeometer for free, so take advantage of that also. And again, the market here selling off. I'm going to go back over here. You can see the market selling off, and you could have easily take this and adjust it. Now, right now, this is where your exit scenario, and I took mine off because I had my strategy was just a 2-tick strategy for that first alert. But it was, now that I saw it was a super signal, you could adjust that and hold that. But either way, this is the criteria of your exit usually. It's, your first rotation down here when stochastics grab down here. So right about here, you would have a good reason to get out, because you probably have a little bounce here. So that's just one technique. And again, this market here gapped up here a little today. The big signal is pushing us back down, and we're going to take it from here. I'll wait for the next signal. Take a look at the open today. We actually opened up off of an old trend line, and again, you'll notice that when we establish a really good 1, 2, 3 pattern, if it's back a couple weeks or days, weeks, whatever, I tend to extend those, and those lines, especially in this case, this top trend line, the bottom trend line, come into play. Especially the bottom one here came into play. We gapped up. When we gapped down underneath it, we originally came back up to it and then came down and tagged it again and held it. Same thing happens with that top trend line. Even though it's choppy around it, we kind of keep it there, and we start to see if it starts to hold again. In this case, it held here, and we just opened up here today, and we actually closed right on the trend line. It was saying, wow, that was a nice little nice little flush, and then right on that trend line, we got a nice little bounce, ripped up. Now this is actually holding up, and you can actually hear the crickets in the back pushing higher. This looks like to be turning back up on the 5-minute chart, which would be bullish. With a series of higher lows here, but this also was a divergence too, and that's something that we're experts at pointing out for you, and that was a good one right here. So we'll see what happens here next. We have that little bias to the upside on the 5-minute. Just to catch up on the hourly here for a second. The hourly almost oversold. That little dip down. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video. The potential of that snapback drop down. I even put a candle there. I even put it just to kind of take us out of those lows and then reverse, and this to turn back up. And it looks like that was the perfect setup that's playing out right now. We haven't got the turn up yet, but it definitely can happen today. We can actually start to see this start to turn. It looks like we're trying to do that right now. This candle needs to get a little follow through, and if we do, we're going to have a pretty decent setup. We'll see how it sets up. Right now, we're going to concentrate on the HPS. We're actually on the tradeometer setups, and we already took one. And I'm thinking of adjusting this a little. Like I said, I wanted to use the dollar bill strategy, but I also want to raise it at on a good setups when you have that 5-minute setup on your side and you have a bigger super signal. Maybe put the contracts up to 2. Keep our first target at that 2 ticks in the right, then raise the stop to break even and let it go. So we're going to watch that also for that 5-minute, 3-minute combination. Also, that Fastenal has that great setup here and we pulled back on the 60. And that 60-minute now starting to turn back up, and I think that's pretty bullish here because that daily is still very positive. Yeah, we had a little breakdown yesterday, but it's staying within the, kind of within the pattern here. We're actually building back into the pattern, and we're really looking at this as a weekly divergence possibly setting up. So we're going to, learn a lot about it today. We'll see how the weekly candle ends today, and then the potential of that divergence playing out next week. So that's definitely in focus also. All right, we just had a tradeometer overbought signal. Now, market just ripped up here higher, so I'm trying to get a gauge of some news and stuff. I don't have everything up and running here, but this is a, just ripped pretty good. We have a tradeometer set up here, right up here. We'll mark it off. It's at the highs of the session. Got to be careful. There was a little buy program that came right in here. Oh, what did I do? I just did. Hold on. Cancel that for a sec. Cancel that.
Position closed.
I didn't want to push that. Hold on. Shoot. Burned some commissions there. Sorry about that. I wanted to actually take that short. I pushed the wrong button there. All right. So I'm going to actually wait on this. I want to wait to see if we get just a little better setup. It looks very strong. We did have a pretty. It's nice to see just a couple dots on the screen right there, and each one at the extreme levels of the chart. Yes, here up 10. The Dow is up 65, and it's and again I'm doing this Friday video just to kind of catch up. We put out HPS video yesterday. Going into the election, we don't expect a lot of activity, but this is surprising. Out of the gate today here, we're ripping higher, some volume coming in. Panera Bread here pushing higher. Just a couple updates on some stocks. ISRG, along that's now starting to get right back on track. It's a big mover, and you can see this one here at 675. So, I have 10 shares of that, and it was getting a little dangerous there. The best bets here, the MasterCard and the IBM acting great, and the AVB actually came back very strong. AVB about to take out that 169 level. IBM here starting to rotate back up. That's our other best bet of the week, and again 154. We had a short-term target of 155, which we're very close to right now. I got some other stocks on the screen here. Google looking very good. I want to move that off here for a second. I'm not holding any Google. And the Amazon, I'm not holding any of that, but that was for our market movers game yesterday for earnings. All right, as you can see, I'm back here on the video, and again, this is our typical Friday video where we go over the setups. I just stepped out to get myself a coffee, and I came back, and I was just waiting to see, because we just left right when we had the signal, but it looked pretty strong. We pushed a little bit further, and as you can see, we're starting to roll over now. But right at this 1052 area, we came in with a 3-minute sell divergence. So we really pay attention to the 3-minute and the 5-minute sell divergence were actually the Rambot signals. We had one. Well, actually, this should be a square. Remember squares? Sorry about that. Squares represent sell signals. Circles represent buy signals. All right, so we had that super signal here, nice pullback. We had this tradeometer signal here, and as you could, I'm going to show you the picture here, and you can see it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was very close to the highs. We pushed a little bit higher, and then we started rolling over. That's going to always be a tough situation, I think. Because sometimes the market will start to trend or will break out of a range, either up or down, and we'll get a stronger move in that direction. And where you expect a bigger pullback, you just kind of get this lazy pullback. But I want to point out one thing on this, and I think it's important because if we go back and we just look at, and again, the concept here is to actually just point out the most tradable areas of the day, and then have that opportunity to trade those. And we're going to continue to, I want to continue to show you these as much as I can. You don't have to take them all. I'm not going to take them all. But at least we look back at the end of the day, and you start to see there is a gigantic, huge edge you get for the timing on your trades, and it's all about the timing. Now the tradeometer is awesome for this because it does measure the momentum on multiple time frames. So it has, if you do got a tradeometer set up, you have that in your favor. That rotation about to happen. And in some cases, if it is very strong, that's the only time that you have to kind of consider backing off is when you have a determined trend, a very strong trend, a news-related market, something that's out of the ordinary, and that's when you just back off of that. So you did have this little pullback, and here was the divergence. So the other second thing we want to pay attention to, the true divergence setup. Now that's what the Rambot is going to give us. And as you can see, that 3-minute time frame also showed up as a 1-minute time frame too. So we had that 1 minute at 10:51, and then we had a 3 minute. So we had that. You could see clearly here the 1 minute divergence. The higher, the high here, the higher high, the high there, the lower high. And the combination of both of these eventually rolled us over. And it's a Friday market, and this is the issue again you will have, is being able to just kind of hang on there, not getting too much slippage on your entry. Slippage means, when you try to get your signal, to get that order in at that time of the signal without it already moving on you, and you're getting in a little less than you want to. But here's a nice little channel developing, and you can see we kind of rotated back down, and we just had a 1 minute little buy signal here. And you can see down here, it looks like a little 1 minute buy signal right here, so we start to turn back up. So it's kind of choppy. It's not the trades I would take right now, but we're going to take trades today. You have to be smart. You have to, play on the winning team. You don't want to go against, the trend and stuff. So we'll wait for that next good setup here. But a little divergence here, fast divergence. Remember, divergence is good until that rotation completes itself. All right, as you can see, the market has just been going sideways. I was just doing a post updating. We have lost a member recently, Dominic Dominator. You might know him as the Dominator in our chat room. He passed away. I just got that notice today. I think it just happened, and just
oversold.
Just sad news. A great person, and just sending down our condolences to the family. So I was just writing that up and, passing that on to you guys. Great man. Some of you have met him in Vegas. I think we met him in New York, too. Just can't say anything more than just the kindest person I've run across in this. And just, randomly meeting new people. This guy was a huge person. Both in physical stature, he was big. He made RPM look small, made me look small, but really his heart and kindness just radiated from his just radiated from him. Anyway, he's gonna be missed. I always look for him in the chat room. Yeah, I do. It's just one of those guys that he's the first person to say good morning and good morning, say hi, and just
NQ tradeometer
he'll be missed. So getting back here, and again the market here just kind of drifting. We did have a nice little rally from like 10:10, about a 30-minute rally. We got up here, we got that little divergence, been pulling back since. We just actually had a signal here, but like I said, there's not much going on here. We did have we just got a signal right now, just as I'm speaking. We have a tradeometer buy signal, and it almost looks like it could be a little. There's a lower trend line down on here, so we're not on the trend line. I would say this is not not really a high probability zone. We'll keep it here. We'll mark it off, but it looks like we're going to go sideways like we expected. The market is positive. The Dow's up 60, S&P's up 4, Nasdaq's up 3 and change. But one day up, one day down. Good action on a couple other stocks, though, and I'll pass those out to you.
Rambot 1 minute buy signal.
And here's that buy signal, Rambot 1 minute buy signal. We prefer to have that 3 minute, but it might happen anyway. Now IBM is fine. The MasterCard here, just banging the table. It's already up to 107. this is just fantastic. I mean, I've been banging the table for the last 3 weeks on MasterCard, telling you I'm going to hold it in, probably hold this one into the election. And this was probably one of the better setups going out on it long term, more than 2 weeks type of trade. So that continues to push higher, and we're looking for this to take out the definitely take out the 110 zone coming up. Now I have 80 shares on this, 80 shares, and well, no, actually, what are we talking about here? IBM, I have the 80 shares, and the MasterCard, I have the 80 shares. The price here, my entry is at $99. So I think we get over 110 on this. You know, I think we get over this 110. Really nice. All right, well, there was your tradeometer signal, and if, of course, there's the move. So, again, no smoke and mirrors here. It is what it is. Awesomeness. That is off of the tradeometer, and we just had that rotation. That rotation brought you a little bit higher. Would have got you out probably in that 33 area, 33 and a quarter area. Once it started getting above that. But you can see with a little further push. Remember, we want to always, make sure that 5 minutes on your side. And I do believe that was a perfect setup. And that's a very steep turn up here. That's a very good turn up. So you got that follow through. You have that one candle, and then you're probably looking at it saying, all right, I have everything going for me. I could wait another candle, see how it continues to grind up here. And that's the 5 minute. Remember, we're looking at the 1 minute here. So that's 5 of those candles, then 5 of those candles, and then another. So we're actually working on like a third candle of that breakout. But at this point, that's, on the 1 minute, you have definitely have a shot of this pulling back a little as we rotate back up. So I think this is the easy money. This becomes a little bit harder to squeeze a little bit more out of that. All right, just an update here. And again, if we look back over at the tradeometer here, you can see we actually had another trigger, another sell side trigger here across the board. Pretty decent, very organized, and it seems everything seems to be pretty much good to go on the tradeometer today. Nothing out of sync. Just it seems a little quiet, but we're going to mark that down. And I want to show you something here. We did have that, and it did pop a little bit higher. And this is kind of a situation that you always got to make sure that you, this is a little pop here. You don't want to make your stop too out of place. What we start to see is, even though this pushes a little bit further, it tends to rotate back soon after, and you end up, either way, always being under that sell signal. Now that could be a timing thing. To give the trade enough time to really turn over. But the other thing I wanted to show you is we had another great divergence. So we actually could see that we have that 1 minute divergence and that tradeometer setup. So it does, add to that setup. And the divergence doesn't happen until you take out that high right there. With that new high, and then we turn down here. So there was a very clean divergence into that. So we're going to, pay attention to that. If you get a signal, get a little further push up, look for that divergence. That divergence here was key. And now you just had another divergence here, the 1 minute divergence right here, which could easily be, a similar situation that just took place here. It's just a little closer. Just an update on some of the setups that we mentioned yesterday on the HPS video here. A lot of these stocks broke down, but they all recovered. A lot of them recovered big today. So they are actually setting up as possible divergences. These are smackdowns. We haven't taken out the lows, and the reversals here are pretty impressive. Not on the volume that we had the last couple days, but at least we're bouncing back up. And you're seeing that on a lot of different things. ISRG here also. We came right back into the channel after it flushed. It was a pretty decent candle. We're oversold. We knew we'd like this down here. It's just that it probably took a little longer than expected. And again, you're seeing that type of divergence set up. The Home Depot, we talked about that one possibly giving us that divergence. We started to turn back up on this. This was a nice setup. The APD, talking about that flush the other day, holding up pretty good. TSCO, that was the one I wanted to concentrate on today. It hasn't really moved too much, but going into next week, I'd say early next week, Monday, this will be back in focus. The Tractor Supply Company. Of course, the PSA was another one that broke down yesterday, and then actually getting more than half of that back already, and that's definitely a divergent setup. You said this already started to turn back up, and you can see we took out the lows. We're right on that lower trend line. So these are long-term kind of decent buy signals right now. A little tough because of the bigger candle, and it's probably going to chop around inside this. But overall, these are the type of setups we could go back and say, all right, when was the last time we had that divergence, and what's the reaction from it? Typically, this is a perfect setup. Lower part of the channel line, inside of a wedge pattern divergence. It just happened to be news here that sets us up. This was a earnings move down, and it's actually starting to rotate back up. So this looks fine. Now, these are the divergences. These are the ones you want to really keep close to you. EXR, another one, extra space, typical of the setup here. Beautiful divergence. So these are really, really good. Very good. This is a textbook divergence. I'm happy to find these. Now that Friday's here, we can send this out kind of an update on these. Well, I'm going to jump in here. I'm trying to get the news out to Paul on the site. Anyway, the market here announced, or the FBI just announced, is reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email use. This is major news that's breaking right now, and you can take a look at that. Look at that chart right now, and you can see that big move down. Everything just rolled over. Everything rolled over. The VIX probably popping. The S&P SPY breaking down. This is pretty big news, and this is gonna be the talk of the town now, going into the weekend and going into Monday. This is interesting. This is interesting. Our market here still selling off here. Pretty hard sell-off. We just got, and again, this is a news-related event. We just got a signal down here, but all signals are going to be off the table right now. Not even going to mention that, but I want to mention it because these signals are so good, and even in the face of news, sometimes I like to see how it reacts. I like to know why my mouse doesn't always react though when I click on something. So we just had a buy signal right here. We are breaking down through this. And again, this is news. I would recommend extreme caution at this point. This is big news. Big news, repeating that case has been reopened. FBI director to inform the FBI has learned of the existence of the emails that appeared to be pertinent to the investigation. Case has been reopened. So we'll see how that plays out. This, you never know with the markets too. I've seen news and Twitter feeds being hacked, and this could easily be that. This could easily be a hack because it seems to be coming in off of this one tweet here. Jason in the house, FBI director Jason Warren learned of the existence of the email case reopened. Now this could be someone's email could have been hacked. The news could come out, and that could cause the market to drop off like that. So we're going to, definitely, but everyone's picking it up. Everyone's picking it up, so this will be interesting to see how this plays out. But this is big news. This is really big news. We're letting this see where this is going now. Breaker. Paul, if you get this, just also saying that, remember, this originally came out on a Twitter feed. One of the guys in the House saying that the FBI director has contacted them saying they reopened the case. You know, I've actually seen Twitter accounts hacked and news come out and then coming out saying that it was hacked and it caused a big market move. So the potential of that happening, I think, is out there. So it'll be interesting to see if this is true or not. Over.
Now, it did come that they said it on NBC News, but even NBC News' Twitter account could be hacked, or NBC News could just be picking up the footage on a Twitter account. 75 and anonymous. John's absolutely right. We've seen these sort of things happen where they hack a well-known Twitter account like the Associated Press or whatever, and they put something out that looks legit, and then it spooks the hell out of the market. Either way, we're getting a retracement.
This seems pretty big to me. I mean, if this is true, there has to be a good reason for them to open up the case again in 2 weeks in front of the election. It's either two things. It's either some really big news out there that I think is going to affect the election, or this is a hack. You know, I'm almost willing to bet that this is some kind of a hack of a Twitter account. It's someone got something out there, it got picked up by everyone, and then the market reacted. And we're going to see that's going to come right back out. I'm going to take that guess right now. Over.
Just posted here. It says FBI director just informed me the FBI has learned of the existence of emails that appear to be pertinent to the investigation. The case is reopened. Now, the only thing that I guess would cause that, because they already had all the information, they're getting emails.
5/4 video now, 550 bid, 550 video now, 5/4 bid anonymous, 575.
And keep in mind too, all these negative emails that WikiLeaks has been producing. That's all about the internal workings of the Clinton Foundation, Clinton herself.
I'm listening to Paul in the background here, and we're watching the markets here, and I'm leaving this open live here because we'll just see what happens here over the next few minutes. Well, you can feel this market here coming back pretty strong.
So I guess in that regard, maybe the FBI's got more information from WikiLeaks. Maybe it's public pressure. Maybe it's just people saying, "Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Look at these emails. You've got to at least reopen the investigation."
575 and 6 here. So sold them off in a big way there, guys. Once again, coming off in a big way now. Russell slows the decline, if you will.
Still back to the same thing. If you accept her to be the way she is, and you think that's just the way she is, and everything, why does this change your vote? I don't think it does. And that's the only reason why I think the market would be selling off, because
So, all right, we have a little bounce up here to the kind of a little retracement trend line. We talk about, those lines. And again, a news item account comes out here. We'll see if this bounces back up here. Lots of times you will get the initial bounce and then the follow through to the downside. This, I think, is a key area right here. We start to push back down, retest those lows, 2120. Well, then you got to probably expect this news to be a real story and the potential, something's going to come from this. If it starts moving back up again, you don't know. I haven't seen any official FBI news, but it's all over the news now. FBI director, we have learned of the existence of emails that could be linked to the investigation. And again, this is all originating from one tweet from, I forget where, who this was. I should have forwarded it to everyone. But that's what we're watching right now. And I'm looking back, I'm looking over here at the tradometer, and even in the face of this news, I mean, talk about, picking a bottom, man. Look at the YM, the NQ, and the ES here. I mean, this thing is just, even in the face of the news, wow. Paul's mentioned that also. All right, we pick up right about 120, and you know what? I think there's a shot to the upside. This is, a kind of a gamble right at this point. If you are looking at this, you do have that one set up here and that little bounce. The lows, you know what? I want to take a shot here with a long, and I want to move this up here. And I want to move the stop here under 21 down here. Actually, I don't want to make it too much. 3-point stop. We turn this down so it's not so loud. I'll let this play out. We're going to see right now if this is a real story or not. Even if it is a real story, we can actually get this bounce back up. I think we have a better shot to the upside right now.
Your profit target has
Wow, that
been
was
reached.
fast. That was fast. We got a point and 3/4 on that. Almost 2 points. $83. Real fast off of that. And again, that's, even though the tradometer did give us a nice bounce, and we could probably even adjust this down here. It's probably right around there it came in. And you look at that tradometer, and it's on the screen, and you could see, you could time it right there across the board on the YM, the ES, and the NQs. All right, market here in a free fall here. Dow is down just 61, but remember we were higher, much higher earlier today, and again, this is just, I'm not doing the show, so this is the video, so you know why the market's pulling back here. The FBI. Reopening the investigation on the emails, and we continue to sell here. And again, this is pretty severe news, big news, right on a Friday too. Perfect timing for this. Everyone has to figure out what they're going to be doing into the weekend, and what's going to come of this over the weekend and into next week. The market reacting down. So this is a kind of a tell. We talk about how the market's going to react with the presidential election, and who does the market really want to be in the White House. A small little dip here on this news here kind of makes it feel like the safer bet would be, the lesser of two evils, as they like to say it now, be Hillary in the White House, and that this would be a blow against that, and the market would be selling off. So we'll have to see where this goes, and this is part of that pullback. We are looking for that pullback before the election. And we got to be careful here. Definitely have to be careful. This is news. We also have Paul Ryan coming out, speaker here, calling for suspension of all classified briefings for Hillary Clinton until the email matter is fully resolved. And again, the SPY here down to 211 now. 211, it dropped down. We've been trading up at 214 recently, 215, and now it's at 211. Down in the 211s, just bouncing right now. Now we have an old, what do we have here? There's nothing really here. I'm going to get rid of this trend line. There's a better trend line right down here. We'll just leave that underlying one there. So that's where we are now. Paul just pointed out a nice double bottom buy divergence here. And I want to go with this one here too. This is right into some news, but I like the double bottom divergence here, right here. Oh my God, is that fast? That's how fast the market's going. I had this on a 2-tick profit target. I want to move that up a little here because of the action here, and I'll manage it. But I still think we have an upside here. I'm going to do it again. Let's see if we get a little follow through here. I'm going to move this down to the lows. I'm going to take a shot here on this divergence. I'm sorry for that loud noise. Let's see what happens here.
There's 8 ticks, right, Rob? Because you're doing YM.
Yes, sir. Switch to YM because DS wasn't doing it.
I see this as a double bottom divergence here.
I don't see us changing the show over to the YM. But it is.
I see this as a double bottom divergence here.
Johnny already said that.
Quiet, nice trade.
So I got the 2 little markers down. I like that idea too, Johnny.
I want to move this up a little. I'm going to try to manage this. Try to get a little further move on it. Remember, we do have some bad news overhanging us here. But we are starting to see that divergence play out now.
Stressed out the upside here. I think we might have a shot at a push lower to that 13th level. And just not saying it doesn't.
Right on the 200. I mean, we could take that two ticks off here. Come on, a little further move here. I want to watch that. Again, downward pressure because of news today is going to be going against the tide here.
We break back below 15 instead of that.
I think I'm going to take this off here.
Position closed.
Right. So 5 trades total, 4 wins, 1 break even. The break even when I took it right off, I pushed the wrong button. These are just 1 contract, and most of these are on the either on the tradeometer or the Rambot divergence setups. And this one is a great example of what we call a double bottom divergence, and it tends to be even a stronger setup.
Reopening, or at least looking at new evidence, slid like crazy. But I think it's just, I think once this all gives us
Low tick alert.
Good thing we got out here. Again, that's how fast this would move.
we'll see if this continues. The VIX really popping up nice at 362. Approaching 2 o'clock.
All right, we just had a 5-minute buy divergence here, and this is something that we want to sometimes just jump on. I want to let's see what happens here. It's a decent 5-minute. Don't happen too often. I want to. It's a tough call here because of the potential news here. We're right off on support line also. Let's see what happens here. We've been doing pretty good with the trades. Five-minute into news. I'll hold off on it for now. Let's mark it down. It's a big 5-minute Rambot, so that Rambot would make it a big yellow circle here. Big, thick yellow circle. And let's take a look at the cash chart fast. And we're going to send this email out. I mean, this post out here before the close. It's, it has the news. All right, so here's your 5-minute. And you have a decent candle. You can probably start to see there is a reason why there's a divergence. You had that little flush there. It came down to actually a trend line. And this trend line just posted in the room represents this underlying trend line. It tagged it there. It came back. It's tagged it. It's probably a nice area for a bounce, but I wouldn't look for too much of a bounce with this news overhanging the market going into the last 2 hours of the trade. So, a dangerous area if you're going to try to just capture a little upside. I'm not going to do that. But we'll mark it off. We'll mark it off for you. Well, we had a nice reversal there. That was a good divergence. If I took it, it probably would have been a fantastic gain there. But, overhanging news here. So I'm going to close this video out. It's getting close to 3 o'clock when I get this out. With the news overhanging the market, again, just kind of a little update. Everything applies that from the last video. Definitely, the market got hit with the news. It will, if the market does pull back, you're going to have a little trouble with some of these. But the IBM still looking great as a divergence, the Fastenal, the other ones we're watching, everything. The PSA is actually good, and I'm just about ready to put an order in for Extra Space. Now, the PSA and Extra Space are REITs. PSA had earnings. It got knocked down, but it's regained most of that today, and it's actually pushing higher even in the face of that news. That just came out, so you can actually see that. And then take a look at the EXR. Is it EX? Yeah, EXR. Similar pattern. That got hit yesterday, but it's bounced back up, and I think it's a great setup here. So I'm going to look at starting position here at around 72.20. I want to get in 40 shares, so that's a beautiful divergence there inside. This is typically what we want. The only thing that probably holds this back is the market. If the market decides to take a turn for the worst, it will put pressure on most stocks, but this is definitely, add that to the list. You'll see that on the watch list on the HPS charts going into next week. So this one, and the PSA too, even though the PSA broke down on the earnings, there's still a chance of actually just pushing back up. MasterCard here continues to be one of the best ones, and we had a 110 target on it. It broke out today. Definitely a breakout today embedded, so we'll get a little follow through on this hopefully. And then the other one. So everything looking pretty good. I'll catch you in the markets early Monday morning, and Sunday evening we always check up on you. So have a great weekend, everyone. And again, we're sad of news of passing one of our great members, Dominic. We'll miss you, buddy. And that's all I have to say about that right now. Have a good weekend.